what was the evolution of Poison back in the beginning when it's just evolving?
Well, I'll start because I'm sure we have slightly different recollections, and Todd's will probably be more accurate. But I guess we had started Apparatus. We were working with these very young filmmakers. I mean, I don't think they were much younger than we were. But one of the things that came out of that was that we were working on the actual construction of these films, the production of these films, really side by side, and that's really when Todd and I became friends. I mean, we didn't really know each other very well at Brand, and as I said, I saw Superstar, and I think I pivoted to. It already seemed like Apparatus was going to come to a natural conclusion, and Todd started talking about his next project, which was Poison, these 3 different stories. Now, Todd, this is what I remember, and I may be wrong. I remember that you originally started talking about Poison as being an hour long. Like you were sort of like, I did a 45-minute piece. I feel like I can go to an hour. And I was starting to get a sense of the marketplace, or, for what it's worth. I was starting to get, and I say this like a whisper of a sense, because it's not like I knew anything, but I was starting to get a sense of like festivals and movies selling and feature films. And I just thought, like, this should be, if this is 90 minutes, then it's like a whole different place. We're in a whole different ballgame. And, this was also, you have to understand at this point, Superstar became almost too successful because it started to get the attention of, the people who would eventually prevent Todd from being able to show the movie. But it also brought Todd to the attention of a lot of like grant giving organizations, et cetera, et cetera. So we were sort of at a really good moment.
Can I jump in here, Christine? Because just for people who don't know Superstar, I should just say the subtitle is the Karen Carpenter story, and it was the story of Karen Carpenter's life and eventual death shown through Barbie dolls, and it had a massive underground success, fan base, obsessive followers, and you're right, attracted all the kinds of right and wrong attention.
Yeah, following up on everything Christine said, which I do sort of remember this conversation about this sort of scope that Poison might become. But I think for me, it was definitely because of Superstar, because I found the audience reaction to Superstar so encouraging that audiences that wouldn't necessarily have encountered that film, right, largely because of the fact that it was circulating more broadly than we had expected, could handle a film that was taking on the Star Story genre with various quotation marks and looking at different kinds of storytelling through different kinds of contrasting frames and points of reference. Because there were these sort of pseudo-documentary passages in Poison, there was the narrative passage with the dolls. And I found it encouraging in terms of a sort of sophistication about the level of viewership, that people wanted to be sort of challenged and were as enthusiastic about some of the ideas that Christine and I shared, as we were. And that was a surprise to me. So I felt like, let's take that a little bit further in a larger format project. But of course, behind all of this was AIDS.
Right.
And a climate, especially in New York City. And Christine and I very quickly got involved in ACT UP and activism around HIV and AIDS. And we're just sort of, like all of us, taking in the magnitude of this health crisis and the patent denial of its importance on the part of government and so forth. And I think it started to also motivate a lot of queer filmmakers, clearly, in an urgency to respond to the predicaments that we were facing. And so Poison, in many ways, was driven by all of these things, both narrative opportunities and sort of optimism, but also a real urgent cultural and social situation that we were all confronting and that I wanted to engage with. And that in my way, I was trying to sort of apply Jean Genet to what was happening. Jean Genet had only passed away in 1986.
Right.
And I felt like, what would Genet have to say about this moment that we were in, where gay people were sort of accepting a lot of the blame and culpability that was being foisted upon that community and was in a sort of retrenchment, you know? And I felt like, let's look at Genet and see if that could provide some inspiration.
Yeah, that's great. I know Genet died just in this moment that being gay was decriminalized in France. It was like he couldn't take it being official, like, you know, it's like he was committed to its criminality.
Exactly.
No, just kidding.
Well, no,
But that is, I mean,
he actually was committed to its criminality.